Welcome back. Now in HTML attributes are they provide, the meaning of attribute in HTML provides an additional information about element, alright? The content of an element. So they appear on the opening tag of an element and are made up of two pairs, a name and a value, separated by an equal sign, and after the equal sign, a double quote. Okay, what I'm saying is attributes provide an additional information about the content of an element. The content of an element, let's take the head one element for instance. We can give additional information to the h1, all right, and the value of the h1, after the pairs we have HTML attribute there. So we can add additional information about the content of the h1 element, and the attribute will have to appear in the opening tag of the element. So this is the opening tag, all right. The ending tag is with the forward slash and the opening tag is without the forward slash. So they appear on the opening tag of the element and are made up of two pairs, all right, a name and a value separated by an equal sign, and after the equal sign or after it, a double quote, all right. So let's start with the id attribute. Now, what is the meaning of id attribute? Id attribute, basically it works or it functions as a page, a portion or a section in your page, all right. For example, id is equal to double quote. You see, after the double quote, after the id name, all right, the attribute name here, attribute name goes here, right? Attribute names goes here, then the value goes here in between the bracket, the quotes. Okay, so we're gonna start with the id attribute. Basically, id attribute of an HTML tag can be used separately to identify any element within an HTML page. Okay, there are two primary reasons that you might want to use an id attribute on an element. Okay, there are many reasons, okay, but I'm giving you two. I know only two reasons. Yeah, I know two reasons: that if an element carries an id attribute as a unique identifier, it is possible to identify just that element, okay, and its content. All right. So when you learn CSS and you want to identify a tag or an element that you have given the certain attribute, the id attribute, and you want to change the font size, the font type, the font family, and so on and so forth, you can use the id attribute for that. And again, if you have two elements of the same name, all right, of the same name within a page or style sheet, I'm talking about CSS here, you can use the id attribute to distinguish between elements that has the same name. All right, so in this video I will do an example for you. Let's say this is an id attribute, all right, then I call this id attribute b, let's say header. When I save this and I create a new file, or I edit my CSS scripts here within the header or the title tag, I can use the header tag to edit it. Don't worry, I will code some scripts here now. Maybe you will not understand. All right, the style tag, Then ID, with ID, when you are editing an ID, we use a pound sign, alright, or the hash sign. Then you call your ID name, the value of the ID, alright. We are calling for header. And what do you want to do in the header? Let's say if you want to change the font size of the header, that's HTML attribute. The font size, we're gonna reduce it to 20 pixels. Note that it's calculated in pixels, alright. Then let's say background color, background to black, and a pattern is a space, 30 pixels. When I save this and refresh my browser, you see I do this with the help of heading, with the help of ID, okay. But as you can see, the text is black already, but automatically PHP, or sorry, HTML or CSS, the color I use for the background color, the background color for the header is black, and the text is also a black. So black, you will not see that, you see nothing, alright. So let's change the color to white and see. Okay, so this is it. Now this is how the ID attribute work. It works in this like this, what I'm showing you here, alright. Okay, so it is in the same page, alright. The portion you are, the header tag, the header, they have the value of the ID, the header is in the same page, is within the same page or the style sheet, but in this case it's not the style sheet, it's in the same page, alright. So you identify it, or you can use the ID attribute to distinguish between them if we have another ID attribute too. Okay, then what are the three cores of HTML attributes? Actually, they are center cores, the center attribute. Okay, the center attribute of HTML. And the four, there are four. That they are the ID attribute, the style attribute, the ID attribute, the style attribute, the class attribute, and the title attribute. Alright, we shall talk about all these. Now let's talk about the style attribute. When you're using a style attribute, it means we're gonna work with CSS, alright? Inline CSS. We have three types of CSS. The internal CSS, the inline CSS, and the external CSS. But with the style attribute, you're gonna use before you can use the inline CSS, you have to use the style attribute in an element. Alright, so let's say I create my h2 tag, then I give a style attribute, then here a CSS property must be here. Okay, let's say font size, then colon, then the value of the font size is gonna be, let's say, 45 pixels higher. Then I close my h2, and I type this is a style tag. Okay, let's refresh our page. You see that we with the help of the style attribute, we've been able to change our font size. If you not believe this, let's try to reduce it by, alright, this style tag now is very small. Okay, the same we can give the color to the font size, to the text. You can give color. Color. Color property red. Alright, you save this and you refresh your browser. Alright, because we didn't separate it by a comma. Okay, now you now find a problem. Alright, if you do this, that's why it is not the best to use an inline CSS. Okay, it is not the best to use an inline CSS. First, because if you're using any other language, program language, I mean same HTML, when we are using CSS, external CSS, then I separate it by a comma, it should work. But with this, you have to use a semicolon. Okay, alright, so this is how the style attributes work. Summary. The style attribute is used for inline CSS. Alright, and I hope you guys understand this topic very well. Thank you for watching this video. See you next. Okay, welcome back in the next video. We're gonna deal with class attribute. Alright, the class attribute is used to associate an element of a style with a style sheet and specify the class of element. You learn more about the use of class attribute when you learn cascading style sheet. Alright, that's CSS. So far now you can avoid it. Alright, don't go deep. Okay, don't go deep. But when you read CSS, especially, we're gonna use this class attribute more when you learn a bootstrap. When you learn bootstrap, alright, when you learn bootstrap, you're gonna use it. Now, the value attribute may be a space separated, alright, space separated of a class names. For example, you can type class is equal to double quote, then you type in your class name. Alright, let's say class name 1, and then class is equal to class name 2. So you can give many classes as you can. Alright, you can give many classes as you can. Now, make sure be careful with ID and class. Someone may say attribute ID and attribute class are same, but actually they aren't the same. Alright, let's say here will be class. Let me give a class attribute to this, and let me save it, and let me change here with a class, just use dots. Alright, then the class name, although it will work, alright, it will remain the same. Right, just because I added some tests down rows, that's why another test, but they remain the same. But in CSS we have a specific class names. Alright, a specific class name, I mean specific values of class. Okay, now let's try an example. About you get it better when you learn CSS. Okay, you get it better when you learn CSS and Bootstrap. So I will not take you through the whole topic, I mean the whole truth. Alright, you read CSS, you understand it better. Thank you for watching this video. Now with the title attribute, it gives an additional suggestion. All right, for example, additional suggestion: when you hover your mouse over a text, you see a tooltip. All right, actually they are similar to IDs. All right, now let's give a heading 3 and give a title attribute. The title is gonna be "This is the title attribute." Then let's type our text here. This will display a tooltip. Now, what is a tooltip? A tooltip, as I already said, when you hover your mouse over a text, you see small tip, right? Let's see the example here. You see, this is an attribute. As compared to this, you see that when you hover your mouse on this, you see a title attribute. Let's try to add some text. There is a title attribute from We Are Programmers. Right? There's a title attribute from We Are Programmers. Okay. Now this is how it works. This is how it works. And in this video, we're gonna talk about internationalization attribute. Internationalization attribute. Now, internationalization attributes are 3. We have the lang attribute, the direction attribute, and XML lang. Alright. For example, let me start from the lang attribute. Although all these tests, code, are in English, alright, are in English language, and if I want to declare this page as French page, all I will do is use the lang attribute. Okay, the lang attribute, then type the language, FR for French, EN for English, then English for US, type US. That doesn't mean it is going to translate your page into that language. Remain the same, but it means the page, the page is in English page. Alright, let me talk. What about the direction attribute? Direction can be placed anywhere in an HTML tag. For example, if I want the page to display from right to left, I use the direction attribute, that's dir, left to right. Save this, it will remain the same because by default it is in left to right mode. But if I want to change it to right to left, RTL, then it's gonna be in the right side. Alright, there's difference. Okay, so there is basically the dir attribute. Okay, thank you for watching this video. See you next.